Welcome back to the GB3 Championship here from Spa-Francorchamps and the third race of the weekend, the reverse grid race, round 9 of the championship. We have an excellent race ahead of us and we're looking forward to a good one. My name is Piers Priorand and I'll be your lead commentator today. I'm joined by Max Marzorati once again. Max, good to have you in the commentary box. The reverse grid always throws a spanner in the works, and especially at Spa-Francorchamps, I'm expecting to see some excellent racing.
Yeah, we've had two fantastic races already with the two feature races that, you know, from a qualified grid produced fantastic racing, almost like a reverse grid race. You know, we saw yesterday from 4th all the way down to really the last place. You know, it was like a kart race, just constant swap and change, pass or be passed, and then a really great battle for the lead on both occasions as well. So it's so exciting to see what's going to happen here in the reverse grid race.
Yeah, very, very excited to see what happens in this reverse grid race. Of course, the reverse grid race is a full reversal of the fastest lap times from qualifying for those who qualified within 103% of the fastest driver, who was Alex Dunn in qualifying. And that means that the whole field this weekend are within 103%. So a full reverse grid. We'll run you through the grid very shortly, but I'm expecting the likes of Alex Dunn, Callum Voisin, Mackenzie Cresswell, Kuharczyk at the front lot. They are going to be coming through the field fast. We've seen the slipstream is very, very powerful around Spa-Francorchamps, and it means you can pass. And we've seen some 2, 3, 4 wide action up towards Lake Combe as well as the bus stop chicane. Max, how high do you reckon we can see those drivers get up the field from the back row of the grid? 25 drivers on the grid today.
I don't know, I think it's impossible to say. I mean, the guys, you know, Voisin, Dunn, the people who they've got to pass first are all the people who qualified up there with them. They're not passing the less experienced and getting to know the track guys. You know, they're going straight for the guys who are straight on it. So I think it's going to be very hard. I think what's exciting is we've seen Voisin and Dunn battling extremely hard for the win both times yesterday. Now they're going to be battling for these, you know, very important points for their championship whilst coming through the field. So it's going to add a different dynamic to that battle they were having. Joseph Loki's got to capitalise today. You know, this is after what happened in qualifying. He could only make up so many places. This has got to be the race where he really delivers to bring back some championship points.
Yeah, Joseph Loke not having the strongest weekend this weekend so far. With the first 2 rounds at Alton Park and then Silverstone, he was in imperious form, taking 3 of the 4 qualifying race victories, and then obviously doing well in the reverse grid race as well, and took the early championship lead. We're seeing how he gets on this weekend, and he could maybe turn things around in this reverse grid race with a number or a move through the field. We know, of course, remind you of the championship format. So 35 points for a race win in race numbers 1 and 2, 20 points for a win in race number 3, so slightly less. However, you gain an extra point for every position gained from your starting position. So start 10th and win the race, you'll get 20 points plus 10 positions gained. So right, here's the grid as we have it now. So Oliver Stewart in 1st, Daniel Mavliatov 2nd, Sean Rashid 3rd, Zach Taylor 4th, Artur Rojon 5th, Noah Ping 6th, Lucas Staiko 7th, Ayoto Iwasaki 8th, Jared Waberski 9th, James Headley in 10th, 11th is Costa Taparis, and 12th Joseph Loke, 13th Edward Pearson, who's had a strong weekend so far, and John Bennett in 14th. Suter around 15th, Michael Shin 16th, Gerard Shi 17th, Max Esterson 18th, Nico Christodoulou in 19th, 20th place Matthew Rees, 21st David Morales, 22nd Timek Kuharczyk, 23rd Mackenzie Cresswell, and then those leading 2 from yesterday, Alex Dunn 24th, and Callum Voisin starts in the final grid position in 25th place. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they get on. As we mentioned a moment ago, a long warm-up lap here, Max, so not too much of a pressure to go and get those tyres up to temperature.
No, it's not, but interesting with the tyres, this is where we're really going to see the strategy play in now. The front guys most likely would have run new tyres in both of the first 2 races. Rather, the guys who knew they were going to be starting at the front of this race might have saved a whole set or even half a set to use. So that deficit between the pole time and the times at the back is going to be a lot smaller in this race than it would have been in qualifying.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting to see. It'll definitely bring the field together, I reckon. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully we can get through the first lap fairly clean. Race 1 we had an issue at the back of the field, and of course Mackenzie Cresswell having that spin from 3rd place after attacking for 2nd. He made up for it in the 2nd race, but we had in 1st race a number of drivers caught up in an incident at Lake Combe, and that's sort of like the hot point or the main area of overtakes and also issues we've seen in Formula 1, in other championships, and also in GB3. Lake Combe, you'd say the easiest overtaking opportunity?
I'm not sure I'd call it the easiest. It's not, you know, overtaking is anything but easy, especially in a very competitive field like this. It's probably your best chance, is probably the better way of saying it. It's your most likely place where you can get a move done without contact, without being too much fight back. But it's still very tough to do. You have to make sure you get a good exit from effectively 2 or 3 corners back to make sure you get the run down there. And the guys never defend to make it easier, because they prefer it if you went up the inside into turn 1 of the source, because it means that they're going to have the chance to come back at you. So
yes.
it's a very, very tough way to play it. And if you're actually too close through Eau Rouge, you can actually lose a little bit of time having to maybe lift off, because you'll get the run too early, which we saw, I think, in 2017 between Hamilton and Vettel. You know, that's what Hamilton did to Vettel on the restart to make sure he held the place.
Yeah, you almost need to get a sort of a bit of a gap so you can get more of a slingshot over the top, so that you get an overspeed past the driver in front of you, don't you?
Exactly.
But it'll be interesting to see how that toe plays out in a group of 5 or 6 cars nose to tail. Maybe we will see some moves into the bus stop, into La Source, because you'll still be on the back of the car in front. And if you're second or third in a train, you're not going to have so much of an advantage or a disadvantage in terms of the toe. But the car's lining up on the grid now, so Oliver Stewart on pole position will be hoping to get away well. Mavlyatov will be hoping to have a good result as well. We saw he, of course, won one of the reverse grids at the previous round, so a previous race winner as well. Oliver Stewart been struggling a bit this weekend, clearly not completely dialed in with the circuit and car. His debut season in the GB3 Championship. His teammate Mackenzie Cresswell is having an excellent weekend in terms of pace. We saw an onboard, or we've seen an onboard lap from him, and he looks very much hooked up. And yesterday he was right on the coattails of Alex Dunn and Callum Voisin. Looks like almost all the cars are on the grid now. We're getting a green flag at the back of the field. In a moment, everyone will be away and racing. Once again at the GB3 Championship for round number 9, the reverse grid race. A reminder. Hope it all. Hopefully we'll have an interesting race. And the lights are out. Everyone is away. It looks like a slow start from pole position from Oliver Stewart. Daniel Mavlyatov leads early on into turn 1. We're going through a 4 wide in the background once again. Drivers diving up the inside into the source of it. Everyone going to get through cleanly. A bit of contact I saw in the middle of the field. We're still 3 wide going down there. Looks like the 2 Fortec Motorsport cars are side by side with Costa Taparis in the back of shot. But 1, 2 and 3 were line astern as we go side by side for 6th place. Can't quite see who that is. That looks like potentially Noah King going side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion. And everyone making their way cleanly so far. Suter around now having a slipstream past one of the other drivers alongside him. That's probably Edward Pearson. We're fanning out left and right. Everyone trying to attack and defend at the same time. That is the number 33 there, or 23 of Michael Shin. Having a look. There's a good move around the outside from Woburski. Oh, it looks like we've had it coming together at the front of the field. That's a lot of cars off, involving Mavlyatov, and can't quite catch the numbers of the other drivers. But Mavlyatov has crashed from the lead, so potentially contact with Stewart or whoever was alongside with him. And we got another big crash in the background. Everyone checking up, and that is a Chris Dittman car and a Douglas Motorsport car. We'll give you exactly who that is when we can see in a bit more detail in a moment. Double waved yellows. I think that was probably a continuation of the jostling for position and the exit of Leclerc, and the safety car has been called. Max, let's have a quick look at this again.
Yeah, I mean that was just that was carnage. It's extremely exciting as we can see in the reverse grid race. That last contact looked very interesting. It just seemed that, like, because of the momentum lost through those corners, which are, it's a very momentum-based part, that sector. Due to one car being quite slow, it just caught everyone out. You're coming through those corners so fast, and it's quite hard to look far enough ahead at what's coming up. And it just, like, unfortunately, I'm not sure who it was, but the Douglas car got caught out in that. And I'm guessing it must have been Timac looking at the timings. But as that car was going slowly, it was almost like an aeroplane crash as he hit the back of him. But
right, it looks like the cars involved in that sort of hustle over at Leclerc was Mavlyatov, Sean Rashid and Zach Taylor, and potentially also Timet Kuharchik. What can I see?
Is it? I think it's Rashid. I think that must be Rashid's car.
And there's another car stopped at No Name as well. So yeah, this is a safety car for now. Potentially might be longer. It looks like the Douglas Motorsport driver is out of the car. We'll keep you informed as we know more and more. But yeah, it's a messy start to the race. I think we didn't see the start of the issue at Lecumbe. I imagine someone probably went up the inside, went off the circuit. That's good to see. Zach Taylor is out of the car. So it looks like, as far as we're aware, everyone involved in that incident down towards Rivage is okay. The cars can't be said. It can't be said the same for the cars. There's some quite substantial damage there. And who is that stopped? Who is that stopped on the inside of no name? Is that a high-tech Pulse 8 car? Potentially Michael Shin? We'll find out in a moment, but let's run through the order as they come over the line. So after all of that drama, it's Oliver Stewart who's somehow managed to maintain the lead. Joseph Loke has made his way all the way up into second position. We were literally just chatting about him before the race, Max. He's done excellently. Jared Verbersky in third place for Force Head Motorsports. Lucas Styko with a decent start in fourth as well. And then of Headley fifth. Noah Ping has made his way into sixth. I think he was involved in some of that, but somehow managed to keep going. Ayata Iwasaki in seventh. Arthur Rojon in eighth. A good start as well also for Max Esterson in ninth place. No, Michael Shin is still running, so that isn't Michael Shin. We're hearing the right is it potentially might be Matthew Rees. It must be, because he's down at the bottom of the field as well on our timing screen. Where did we get to? Yes, Costa Taparis in 11th. We saw him going side by side, 3 wide down to Eau Rouge on the first lap as those cars get removed very quickly. So good job from the marshals there. Yeah, so we are heading through our ears. That is Matthew Rees involved once again. It's been a torrid weekend for Matthew Rees. He'll be really disappointed because he showed some great pace towards the end of the second half last year. Actually, Max, can we see any more here? It looks like that was Zach Taylor and the Douglas Motorsport car of Rashid had come together, but Mavliatov is also sitting stationary. He had damage on his left rear wheel.
Oh no, that's the safety car. Yeah. Well, you know, again, showing how great the GB3 cars and how safe they are. You know, that would have been a heavy impact over the top there, and you know, all the drivers walked out fine, and you know, moving about, they're clearly all okay, which is great to see. And you know, as I say, these cars are extremely fast, but they're also extremely safe.
Yes, of course, and you can see the drivers going slowly around the outside of the incident. It shouldn't be too much longer. Again, a very long lap, 4.5 miles, 7 kilometres around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to go, maybe even go racing at the end of this lap after these cars are removed. But if not, then definitely the lap afterwards. We saw a 2-lap safety car in race number 1 this weekend. Probably the same thing again today. That still leaves 6 flying laps to go, which is plenty of time around this long circuit. That's at least, you know, isn't it? Well, that's a long way to go, isn't it, Max? And who do you reckon? I didn't actually ask you before the race. I was going to say who are you going to pick for the win before the race, but I forgot to ask you. It looks like Joseph Logan in the pound seat right now, because I think he's had the pace over Oliver Stewart, but I wouldn't count out Jared Verbersky in third place.
No, this is a good opportunity for Jared to you know, have a really great result this race. He's sitting kind of almost in the pound seat. Joseph Logan is directly ahead of him, and it's all going to be again about that run up to Les Combes, who can get the best run. So Oliver Stewart needs to get the best restart he can to try and at least give himself a little bit of a gap to defend against Joseph Loke, but it's just going to be so tough to hang on, or even maybe if he, you know, purposely moves to the inside and brakes early or something to let Loke get by to then get the slipstream.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to do something different, I think, to try and hold that lead. And for Loke, this is perfect. This is exactly what he needed, you know, and it will be, I think, quite interesting to see his onboard of that first sector where all the cars are going everywhere and seeing exactly how he was picking what places to be at, you know, around the circuit to make sure to avoid contact and come out in second.
Yeah, we've seen this year already that Joseph Loke's got some good racecraft, and he's up from 12th place to second, so already up 10 places, so 10 bonus points already if he maintains his position. Of course, we're not done yet. We're only 2 laps into this race, and the lights are still on the safety car, so we will be having another lap under the safety car. Of course, safety is the main priority, so they're making sure that the track is clear of all cars and debris, and everyone is in a safe place. We go racing once again, but let's have a look further down the field and see who else has been any. Look at the movers and shakers. So John Bent in 12th place is gone up 2 places. Who else has moved around? Timmy Kuharczyk is still going. We thought he was actually out of the race, but he's moved up quite well from 22nd to 15th, and we know that he's good at overtaking. We saw at Silverstone him making up positions left, right and centre, so I'm expecting him to come up well inside the top 10 by the end of this race, I would imagine. Alex Dunn from the back of the grid also up to 17th, so he's doing well. Callum Voisin, not so many places gained, up to 20th, so he's gained 5 positions. I think he's probably just been trying to keep out of trouble, hasn't he?
I think so, yeah. I think he knows that if he has a DNF in this race, all the good work he's done could get lost. So but he still needs to make progress. You can't actually just sit there in this reverse good race, because Luke's already on the second. You say that's 10 bonus points plus the points you get for second. You know, with his pace, it's looking like he'll probably, you know, he will go for the lead. You know, at least try to. You know, and if he gets it and gets those points again, the, you know, bonus point plus the points you get for first, a lot of the work that actually Voisin has done over the weekend could get lost again in this race if he doesn't make that progress. And you can see Dunn is already making that progress. He's up into 17th, and he'll be looking to make moves as well with the pace that he's got. So Dunn will be making points back as well. So Voisin does have to really, he does still have to go for it. He has to think about the championship, can't do moves erratically, but has to make sure he's still doing the moves to get up the grid.
I think there's 3 guarantees in life for today, and that is death, taxes, and Joseph Loke attempting to take the lead into Lecombe this time out as soon as we go green, because we know that Joseph Loke doesn't hang about. He's well, he likes getting stuck in. We saw yesterday he was pushing very hard and actually left the circuit a couple of times, so a bit scrappy from him yesterday, but still right in there with the championship hunt in his first season in the GB3 championship. Worth remembering that is only his 3rd round, and the first time he will have raced at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, I imagine. I'm pretty sure it'll be his first time racing at Spa-Francorchamps, and as much as his pace in the JHR team's pace has been maybe as strong as it was at Alton and then Silverstone, they're still right there, and he can still salvage a decent points haul and potentially even come away from today's race in the championship lead. As we have a look at the championship standings, the gap is, I think it was only 4 points, so if the race finishes as it does, which I'm sure it will not, then Joseph Loke would take the championship lead, as Callum Voisin would get not very many points. I think maybe 1 point plus. How many has he gained? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, the top of my head, Joseph Loke would take a slim lead in the championship table, with Callum Voisin potentially. Would he be overlapped by Alex Dunn? No, 20 points is the gap currently before this race between Dunn and Voisin. Dunn in 3rd place, so it's definitely a 3-way fight at the championship as it stands, but Timet Kuharczyk is also not too far back, as is James Headley. And James Headley has had some half-decent results this weekend, is it, Max? You're pointing out that we believe that the safety car lights have gone out, so we'll go racing again this time out. But James Headley, not setting the world alight this weekend, but with some solid results in race number 1 and race number 2.
Exactly, and he's in a really good position again here. Look, that's quite menacing. He's not weaving at all. He's just sitting there ready to go, you know, waiting for Stuart to drop the gun.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Stuart to go. I wonder how early he will go. This will be the first time he's probably done a safety car restart at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and he's gone very, very early, and it's actually worked for him. He's got a small gap to Joseph Loke, and Loke is now under pressure already for Jared Wilburski. Lucas Steichel getting caught slightly napping there with about a 3-car length gap to the car ahead, and he's right, or underneath his rear wing is James Headley right there. You just mentioned that he was ready to go, not even weaving, as a few drivers in the background run wide on the exit of the bus stop to get the best exit possible. But we're now 3 for the lead. It is Stuart, Loke and Wilburski. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out at the top of the Camel Straight up towards Lecombe, and then it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th place, pretty much all line astern. This could be anyone's game. Hopefully we can get through Lecombe cleanly this time. Only the 2nd racing lap we will have this going through Lecombe. We're flat out, even on the 1st lap through Eau Rouge and Radion. Here we go, Joseph Loke looking to the outside. Can he get in front of Oliver Stewart even before the turn, as we see Steichel defending now from Headley in the background and everyone following? Side by side, only a couple of centimetres between them. Loke trying around the outside. Stewart's got in hot. Has he got in too hot? No, he's got it stopped. That's a great defensive manoeuvre there, but that's definitely going to slow all 3 of them down, as we now see Headley going around the outside of Malmedy onto the gravel. Is that going to leave him vulnerable from Ping? I think it is. Yeah, his teammate Ping making his way through both Ardent VRD cars, and then more fighting in the back of the field, and everyone will now string line astern as we go through No Name, which is not really a corner you can go through side by side.
Great defending from Oliver Stewart there. You know, I being honest, I thought that was a done deal. I thought that was it. You know, Loke was gaining so much on that straight to get past, but Oliver Stewart said, you know, I'm not going to get intimidated. You know, you may be fighting for the championship. This may be my first year, but I'm coming straight back at you. And that was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant to, you know, put it on the line like that, get back up the inside. You know, Loke's got something to lose. Oliver Stewart doesn't.
Exactly, and I think Stewart's going to be looking to try and take this win after what has been a somewhat of maybe a slightly confidence-damaging weekend. Again, it's only his first season. His teammate Mackenzie Cresswell has done a season and a half previously in the GB3 Championship. However, he's been right at the back of the field. His pace hasn't been where it has been in the first couple of rounds. Of course, Spa-Francorchamps is quite an intimidating circuit, but he's really turning it on now. He's pulling away from Loke in the middle sector, actually, and we saw a mistake from Wilburski through the Vanya chicane. Let's have a quick look at that restart again. So we've got the 3 of them for the lead. Wilburski is now drawing onto the back again of Loke, and that is Styko now being the cork in the bottle for Ping, Headley, but Iwasaki, as we see, that must be Rojan going up the inside of... No, and the front wing's gone. That's going to be right in the middle of the circuit. Hopefully everyone avoids that.
Is he going to call the puncture as well?
Potentially. Is he going to give a puncture to Esterson? Was that Esterson that he ran into the back of?
No, it was the high tech. Yeah, there's a puncture there.
Oh, it is, yeah, the number 23. That is Michael Shin. That's really unfortunate. That wasn't Shin's fault whatsoever. It was just Rojan opening the steering a bit too early and his front wing cutting the tyre of Shin. So Shin, a struggling weekend for him, as we see now. Rojan is going 3 wide into Eau Rouge with no front wing. This can only end badly. I'm wincing in the commentary box. Goes straight on, understandably. Yellow flag at turn 19, which must be the last corner where the front wing is being retrieved. That will be gone by the next lap, I'm sure of it. Let's have a look back to the front of the field. Has there been any change for the lead? Doesn't look like it, but there's plenty of changing going on further down the field, as we see Morales getting involved there, trying to go around the outside of the number 7 of Timet Kuharczyk, but not getting that move done. And then we've got Voisin and Arau going side by side as well. John Bennett is now fighting it once again with his teammate Costa Paris going into Rivage, and then Voisin still looking left, looking right, trying to go all the way around Suter Arau on the high-tech Pulsate Red Bull liveried car of... And is he going to get that done? We're looking in the back of shot now. We're going into No Name.
He's done it. Has he done it?
I can't tell. They're still side by side. I think Voisin has managed to take that move.
Oh, it's going to be outside of Plur. He's going to hold on to that. That's going to be really tough to do off the line.
Yeah, let's have a look and see in the back of shot. That's where we're looking to see Voisin, if he's managed to get through. Yes, he has. Voisin has made his way past Suter Arau, that Red Bull livery driver. Suter Arau, of course, Red Bull Honda sponsored driver. We can see that move again where Rojan went up the inside of the second part of the chicane, just opened the steering. Oh, actually, it looked like Michael Shin, as he came back on the circuit, just ran his... I think it was a case of 2 into 1, probably a racing incident. I wouldn't say you can place blame on either of those drivers, actually.
No, that looked to me that it was just, you know, 2 people trying to find the same bit of tarmac and both not really, you know, looking at each other kind of thing, you know.
Therefore, we can see the replay of Shin going straight on. As soon as he realised he had a right rear puncture, he couldn't get the car stopped and safely pulled off on that little escape road, and that was the front wing being removed from the circuit. We're now looking at the number 11 of Lucas Styko continuing to fight. He's continuing to fight with the rest of the group around him, which is, of course, Headley, Ping. So Ping's made his way past Styko. Styko now in the middle of the Arden VRD cars, looking to come back up the inside. Not quite. Who's that making a move up the inside? That must have been Max Esterson going up the inside of James Headley, but not making it stick. That potentially might hurt his exit out of La Source on the long flat-out run towards the Kumis. You know, it's flat out for nearly 30 seconds, even in a racing situation. So, yeah, there's Arthur Rojan coming in for a front wing change. But at the front of the field, Oliver Stewart is pulling away. Maybe he saved his brand new tyres for the reverse grid, knowing he didn't have a strong qualifying. But let's look back at this group here. That's James Headley now looking around the outside of Styko. Can he get that done? Styko squeezing him. Oh no, and Esterson's been tagged. Eston was tagged there, and we heard the contact, and that is another disappointing race for Eston in what has been a very, very difficult weekend. And now, who's that going off? That is Ping? Or is that Headley?
No, it's like an elite car. It's an elite car, number 16.
Number 16 is Mackenzie Cresswell.
I just put in the fastest lap of the race. I was going to say, the elite cars in this race, they found something overnight. They are so quick in this race.
They are very, very quick. So look at that again. So here we go. That was number 3 there of Noah Ping, just unfortunately understeering into the rear wheel of Max Esterson. Max has got going again, but way, way down the field. Currently the fastest lap of the race is, as you mentioned, with Mackenzie Cresswell. However, the fastest sector of the race was just set by Timet Kuharczyk in 13th place.
This is great racing. You know, this is the kind of racing we expect to see in the reverse grid race. Everyone's going out. This is the last race of the weekend before the cars come back to the UK, so there won't be any kind of overnight repairs, so they can all just go for it. I think Oliver Stewart is doing an absolutely fantastic race. First time, I believe, leading in GB3, and you know, he's not cracking under that kind of pressure. He's just doing his own thing, pulling away from, you know, Joseph Loke, who looked so dominant in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's seriously got some pace in that car now, and maybe in the lead He's found some extra pace, which is allowing him to pull away, as we see Costa Taparis going around the outside of his teammate, John Bennett, I believe. Yeah, I think it is, actually. So that was a good move into the bus stop chicane. Who's that coming into the pits there? That must be the number 3. Is that Noah Ping, potentially, with maybe a bit of steering damage after that contact, as we now look at Callum Voisin going up the inside, getting squeezed almost onto the grass there by, that must have been David Morales. So Morales squeezing him very hard, managed to get through there. We're still looking at this battle. It's almost nose to tail between, that is Taparis,
Dunn is in that mix
Bennett
as well.
And Dunn as well. Very, very close. So Dunn, we know how fast that car is. There's the number 77 of Morales, now trying to get that pace back off Callum Voisin.
This is the problem with making a move into La Source. You're just going to be vulnerable back down this straight. He needs to try and find the toe of a car in front, which I guess is easy to do at the minute when they're all fanning out like
Let's
this.
have a look. Actually, Alex Dunn has managed to make his way past Costa Taparis, and so has Bennett. So Taparis has gone down 2 places there. I thought Dunn was going to be able to go past Bennett as well, but not quite far enough alongside.
Voisin's been repassed.
Yeah, Voisin's been repassed once again. So Voisin up and down the field as he looked at the inside of Ravage, not quite doing it this time.
Got to be careful, that can't really be moving under the braking. That's when you get caught out.
Yeah, that was a bit of a late move there from Morales, but still all managing to carry on. But at the front of the field, Oliver Stewart doing excellently, pulling away. It looks like that we are actually now on a timed race, so that time under the safety car means that we have flipped from a 9-lap race to a timed race. Potentially it will be an 8-lap race. 6 minutes to go, so still 3 laps, or 2 or 3 laps remaining, but there's plenty more racing to happen. That battle for, I don't know, what is it, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, yeah, so like literally, what is it, 8th to 16th, those 8 cars are pretty much nose to tail, and that includes Dunn, Taparis, Kuharczyk, Cresswell, Morales, Voisin, Arau, Christodoulou and Shi. There we have Noah Ping and Artur Rojan, who have made their way back out of the pits at the back of the field. They are still on the lead lap, I believe, so probably will still make some points in this race, hopefully. And that's the reason why they are continuing on, but we can see the cars flash their way on the way to Blanchimont corner. Side by side in the background, that is around the outside of Blanchimont. That is the Douglas Motorsport car of...
Is that Timmick?
Yeah, it's Timmick Kuharczyk going around the outside of Blanchimont. That's a bold move, and we're going side by side as well.
Again.
Yes, that's Voisin nearly running into the rear or the front wing of David Morales. Morales is probably going to have another look up the inside, or will he wait until the Kemmel Straight? He's having a look, but slotting back in, thinking, you know what, my better opportunity is down the long straight. Gerard Shi now up the inside of the other Arden VRD car of Nico Christodoulou. Christodoulou had some great pace yesterday, a couple of good results, but making quite as much ground in this race as he potentially would have hoped. Still,
they're almost side by side through Eau Rouge there, still fighting on for Christodoulou and Shi. Absolutely brilliant racing, and here comes Headley trying to get up into 4th place, and behind, look at the scrap, just everywhere you look, it's 2 by 2 by 2.
It is, and that is Dunn now trying to run the outside of Bennett, and he's got that move done before the corner, and Voisin has managed to hold off Morales this time into the coupe, so he'll be happy to have made a move past Morales, because that was proving quite difficult, and hopefully he'll be going onto the back of Cresswell very shortly. But Cresswell, we know, has the fastest lap of the race. We know he's got the pace. He's going to be making his way through the field. Cresswell is now going to be looking to make a move on Taparis. Obviously 3.5 tenths off the back of Taparis as we went into Les Combes, but everything just slightly settling down now in the middle sector. Let's have a run you through the order as it stands. So it's Stewart from Lowe, then Waberski, Headley, Styko in the top 5. Iwasaki, Dunn, Bennett, Kuharczyk and Taparis round out the top 10. Then we've got that battle, Cresswell, Voisin, Morales, Arau and Shi. Then Christodoulou, Pearson, Mavliatov, and then the rest of the drivers who have been through the pit lane, which is Ping, Rojan, Esterson, with Shin, Rashid, Taylor and Reese out of the race. Let's see how this group bunches back up again as we have the long run down through Blanchimont to the bus stop.
How many points is Dunn going to collect here? Because he's gone from 24th to 7th. That's before you even take into account the points from 7th. He's going to be making a lot of points up in the championship lead. I think he's really brought himself into the fight for the rest of the year now with such a great weekend. Yeah,
with Dunn in 7th place, Loke in 2nd and Voisin down in 12th. I reckon it's going to close up a lot for the championship lead as we see once again Kuharczyk looking for a move at the bus stop on John Bennett in the Rodin Carlin car in the front of shot, that black, dark blue and yellow highlighted car. Kuharczyk in the number 7 blue Douglas Motorsport car. Getting back in the slipstream once again. It looks like Bennett's just dropped off the back of Dunn, so he's not going to have very much of a tow going down towards Kemmel, so he's definitely going to be vulnerable. Look how close Kuharczyk is through La Source. And it's all about the traction on the exit and then getting yourself positioned nicely for the run up Eau Rouge and Radion. A lot of the drivers will be lifting before they go into Eau Rouge just to get the perfect distance for the slipstream, won't they, Max?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to, as we can see here, this is like when you follow almost too close. He would have had to have lifted probably later than he would have liked it. And luckily for him, the two in front will be punching enough of a hole in the air to give some kind of tow. Look, he's moving him out of the tow, trying to move him out of the tow to like make sure that he's not, you know, in the air there. Move back to the, oh, great move. You know,
wow.
Squeezed him perfectly, then got around the outside. That all started because he made sure that Bennett wasn't actually getting the slipstream, and he was.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really good racing there. It was hard racing. He forced Bennett, edged him down and down and down to the inside of the circuit, then popped back to the outside to get the last little bit of tow, brake nice and late into Lacombe and got that move done. That was excellent racing. We know Timek is not afraid of getting his elbows out. We saw how many places he made up at Silverstone last time out after being so fast in qualifying and then having to start from the back of every race that weekend. He made up some good positions inside the top 10 in a couple of the races, I believe, as well, if my memory serves me correctly. But Timek Kuharczyk is already closing in on the back of Iwasaki now in the Elite Motorsport car for 7th place, so he's got some serious pace in that car at the moment.
Yeah, and in that, Dunn has actually done Iwasaki as well. He's up into 6th. I don't know what the gap is to Styko, but is it catchable? What is it? What is the gap between them? I think it might be. There's not much between each car. I think it's only like a second or so. So he could do that. He could do that in the next lap.
Yeah, we've still got, this will probably be the penultimate lap going on to the last lap of the race now, with just over a minute remaining before they head over the start finish line for the final time. So we're going to have a 9-lap race by the looks of it. This battle between Kuharczyk and Iwasaki is already kicking off, so some serious mid-race pace from Kuharczyk. Can he go around the outside of the bus stop chicane? He's looking, nose cut back.
Smartly thought better of it there.
Yeah, Iwasaki chopped his nose off for the second part, and Bennett's going to be licking his lips thinking, I might be having some of this in a moment. But now we see Iwasaki defending into the source. I don't think your problem is at the source, Ioto.
Big lock up there.
Yeah, big lock up in front from Dunn, who's 1.8 seconds off the back of Styko, which is a bit of a gap. Probably too much for the final lap. We're now cutting back to that battle further down the field. Gerard Shee is still fighting away with David Morales, and so Voice is now on the back of his teammate Taparis as well. Taparis not got any tow in front of him, so he'll be vulnerable. But this battle still rages on. Here we go. Timek Kuharczyk looking around the outside. Will he do the same move he did last time out? He's now on the outside once again in the tow of Alex Dunn, while Iwasaki is not, which has shown that Iwasaki's already had to drop in behind. Now Timek Kuharczyk is in the defensive position, but manages to keep that place. And it looks like in the background, I think Voisin has managed to make his way past Taparis. Yes, he has, so another move up the field for him. All of these are extra points for our championship rivals, as we see in the background. That must have been Morales having a look up the inside of Shee, but not getting it done at the Malmedy, I think it's called.
Yeah, and in all of that, Oliver Stewart has just been slowly pulling away each lap, couple tenths. Look, 2.7 gap now, down to 2nd place. You know, Jared has stayed within a second the whole race of Joseph Lowe. You know, that top 5 is very much stabilised where it is, but what a brilliant race from Oliver Stewart.
I think it's a really good showing from Oliver Stewart. He's clearly found something overnight, because in qualifying he was almost a second and a half, 2 seconds off the ultimate pace of his teammate of Mackenzie Cresswell, and now his fastest lap at 2:17.5 with no tow is only half a second slower than Alex Dunn, who won the first 2 races.
Exactly. That really shows how much you can learn over the weekend of being at Spa. You know, unlike the other circuits in the UK where it's quite easy to get round to each one and do testing, obviously to go over to Belgium and test, it's quite difficult to do so. So being a second-year driver does have its advantages. Right,
so here we are, Oliver Stewart coming around the bus stop for the final time to take his maiden GB3 victory in only the 3rd round of the season. A reverse grid start from pole position, fended off Joseph Lowe, and a dominant victory by almost 2.5 seconds from Joseph Lowe in 2nd place. Will be happy with that, and Jared Waberski, those 2 drivers making up a lot of positions. Styko and Dunn, who will be very happy from the 2nd last on the grid all the way up to 6th place. Timek Kuharczyk making his way through. We saw a lot of moves from him in 7th. Iwasaki in 8th, and Voisin did eventually get past Paris, as did Cresswell for 10th, 11th and 12th places respectively. So, driver of the race, Max, for you?
I think that's a tough one. I mean, it's, done what a race coming through all the way to 6th. Drove brilliantly, and we've got to remember as well, I think he was like 17th or 16th on the restart. So that wasn't just done through the carnage, that was done through the actual racing. But I don't want to undermine, what Oliver Stewart has done to win his first GB3 race. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he'll be over the moon with that, and it'll be really good for the Elite Motorsport team to get a win on the board this season. They, they've had some strong results in the past. Struggled at the first couple of rounds after showing great pace at the start of the season, but Mackenzie Cresswell doing really well in qualifying, and now a race win for Oliver Stewart in number 3. And a decent result also for Ayoto Iwasaki in 8th place as well. But I think I agree with you, Max. Alex Dunn from the back, right at the back of the field, second last on the grid, kept out of trouble, went from 17th to 6th after the restart, and only 7 laps. That's got to be pretty intimidating for the rest of the championship contenders, for Voisin, for Headley, for all those drivers at the front of the field, because he's looking like he's coming into some serious form.
Yeah, exactly. I think Dunn's coming. That's quite a terrifying thing. The drivers like Logan, they might know how to deal with Dunn. They've raced him before. They were fighting a championship with each other last year in British F4, so they know what each other are like. But the form that Dunn has found this weekend, if he carries that on for the rest of the season, that's going to be very threatening. Voisin obviously knows he's got the quali pace though, and this is a circuit where you can pass. Coming to a circuit like Snetterton, where it's a lot more difficult, being on pole can mean everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And we, of course, moving on to the next round of the season, which will be the Snetterton 300 on the 17th and 18th of June. So a very different circuit. We're actually at Snetterton this weekend, Max Marzorati, but I'll just quickly run you through the provisional results. So Oliver Stewart won that race from Loke, Waberski, Headley and Steiker in the top 5. Then it was Dunn with that excellent drive, followed by Kuharczyk, Iwasaki, Bennett, Voisin, rounding out the top 10. Then it was Cresswell, Toparis, Arau, Shi and Morales, the 10th to 15th. Then we had 16th was Christodoulou, 17th Mavliatov, 18th Pearson, 19th was Noah Ping, Artur Rojon in 20th and Max Esten in 21st. Those last few drivers finishing quite a way off the leader, I think all travelled through the pit lane. And then our 4 non-classified drivers, unfortunately, Michael Shin, we saw that coming together with Artur Rojon. Then we had Sean Rashid and Zach Taylor and Matthew Rees, who were all caught up in that first lap carnage. It was a good race, Max. There was a lot of drama on the first lap. Some contact here and there, but largely good racing. It's a treat to be at Spa, and it's been a good weekend of racing.
It's been a brilliant weekend of racing, and here comes Oliver Stewart. It's memories like these, you're going to remember for the rest of your life. Winning a race at a Spa, this just means so much to the drivers. They, of course, getting to F1 or the top of GT racing Le Mans is what we would dream about, but along that comes things like winning your first ever race at Spa in a car like a GB3. You watch people as a kid doing that, and you go, I want to do the same when I'm going up the ranks.
Yeah, Oliver Stewart, you can see clearly very happy with that, hugging the team, thanking them for all their hard work, because the team worked just as hard as the drivers behind the scenes. And you've also got Alex Dunn in the background there, who will probably be picking up the Sunoco fastest driver of the weekend for his fastest lap that he set earlier on in yesterday's race. Joseph Loke, pretty happy with second place there. I thought he was going to mount more of a challenge, but potentially different tyre strategies between the top 3, as we know that, I believe that, that Stewart will have taken 4 new tyres for that final race, or at least 2 new tyres, whereas the other drivers may have used them in previous races. And you can see in the background, Alex Dunn very happy with that, going from the back of the field to 6th place. Oliver Stewart, not a huge amount of car racing experience, only in karts, basically a year or so ago. And now making the big jump up to GB3 and clearly finding his feet slowly but surely as the season moves on. And he'll take a lot of confidence from that. Hopefully we can get some interviews from the top 3, starting with Oliver Stewart in just a moment, who takes his GB3 victory for the first time.
Closer to the front and qualify next time. We found a few things with the car and with myself that we can improve on. So yeah, for the next round, I'm looking forward to being more towards the front.
The safety car, did that interrupt your flow?
A little bit, but I was able to get a really good start and catch them off guard, and I went really early, so that really helped with the restart. But yeah, it did kind of interrupt my flow a wee bit, I guess, because I had a really good gap and I could have punched that out even further. But however, it is what it is. I knew it would happen. It's a reverse good race. It's always carnage, so I was prepared for it. And yeah, it worked really well.
Congratulations. We'll go around get second position. Well done. Great second position for you. You were close there just after the restart, but he just got away from you a little bit.
Yeah, obviously you saved a good set of tyres for that race, so it's always going to be very tricky to do anything. But you know, I gave it my best. Obviously, we had a really good lap one, up to P2 from P12 or whatever. So yeah, I'm happy with that race. Obviously, I wanted to win, but we didn't have the pace for that today. But you know, we've had a weak weekend this weekend, but we'll come back strong next weekend.
It was a mega start. That first lap was outstanding. You picked up a lot of people in that lap. It was a shame that the safety car came out.
The safety car probably gave me more chance than I would have had anyway, purely because you know I didn't have the pace of Ollie anyway. So you know, it gave me that chance at the restart to attack him, which I gave my best shot. But you know, he just outbraked me into the car, and there was nothing I could do after that. But yeah, like I say, I'm really happy with that. Obviously, with P2, we've had a very tricky weekend this weekend, so yeah, happy to bring away the points, and thankful for the team for all the hard work.
After the restart, you went side by side for a while, just couldn't pull that move off.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I tried my best, but you know, I had less grip and things like that. So you know, it's one of those. He raced me well and did exactly what he needed to do to keep the position. So yeah, still, like I say, happy with P2.
Great, congratulations, and third place is another great result. You must be pleased. You're beaming. You've got a good big smile on your face.
Yeah, I think to finish third overall, I think it was a really good result. We've been struggling with the car all weekend. So yeah, you know, only had new tyres on in the last race, so the win was kind of out of reach after the first few laps. So yeah, but I think overall we've made a few good improvements, and you know, we just need to, after this, put our head down and try and continue on a bit better.
You had a great first lap. Did the safety car interrupt that?
The first lap is, I kind of knew if we were struggling a bit. The first lap is where I had to do all my moves, so I had a really good first lap. To be honest, I think the safety car saved us a bit because it kind of bought me a bit more time on the tyres, because towards the end of the race we were struggling quite a bit. So if anything, I think the safety car helped a little bit in the beginning.
You were able to sort of hold back on second place, but then seemed to drop off as the race went on. Was that your tyres going off?
Yeah, that was mainly the tyres. I mean, we've been struggling in the middle sector the whole weekend. So as soon as I get close to the middle sector, it was even harder with the dirty air. But I think overall, to finish third, I'm quite tough. Good positive.
Great, congratulations. I'll let you go to the podium.
So that concludes the final race of the weekend from Spa-Francorchamps. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend on some of the best racing we've seen this year on one of the best circuits in the world. Oliver Stewart taking a wonderful victory, and he'll be very, very happy with that this weekend. Max, thanks for joining us this weekend in the commentary box. Hopefully we'll have you back at some point the rest of this season. Make sure you join us in the next round of the season, which is on the 17th and 18th of June at the Snetterton circuit for rounds 10, 11 and 12. It will be good to see the cars back in the UK on a very different circuit. So for now, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you very shortly. Goodbye.